Things are changing at the COMEX that could have a dramatic impact on the silver market. We'll discuss what this may mean for silver's price moving forward as we explore. Yes, there has been some very unusual activity that has occurred here as of late, and I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But I want to remind you, channel sponsor Summit Metals, because no matter what happens with the silver market, we're going to see dips in the market, and we're going to see prices reflect as such. Therefore, it's a good time to make a purchase. Summit Metals, one of the fastest growing dealers around today. Check them out at summitmetals.com. Now, when we talk about price, we have to keep things in perspective because we've heard much talk about this or that, an impending squeeze on the market, and that squeeze could cause prices to soar. But we've been grossly disappointed for pretty much all of it. But when we take a step back and look at the silver market over the past 5 years, silver has done very well in comparison to itself. So that is a perspective we need to have. And some of the price performance could be based off of what we've talked about in the past in terms of the squeezes and what's happening on the COMEX. But now, just recently, on the 28th of May, 2025, the COMEX reported an unprecedented net transfer of 12.7 million ounces of silver from the registered category to the eligible category. Yes, we're going to get into that in a moment and dig deeper there, but this is a piece from Kevin Bembrow that gives us this insight on what's happening here. Registered silver represents the pool readily available for delivery against futures contracts, while eligible silver is on standby and largely held for storage purposes. And despite the alarmist rhetoric in certain corners of the financial world, this transfer doesn't mean the physical silver has vanished. It simply shifted categories, and that's important to note. And I'm glad that Kevin Bembrow has made this distinction here, because that is why people get so crazy and think, oh, it's about to happen. They can't stop it now. Silver's price is going to go to the moon. No, that's not what this means, but this dramatic shift could have a positive impact. And there's just strange things happening here. The significance is isn't the disappearance of silver, but rather that it signals that such large-scale reclassifications that it can send. Registered silver now stands at 156.6 million ounces, which is down from approximately 169.3 million ounces prior to this transfer. While the total vaulted silver, which is registered plus eligible, remains intact, the shrinking availability of silver, a deliverable type, raises questions about the supply dynamics. And that means that we could be seeing a tighter market. And it reflects a dual personality, as we know. Some days it seems inert, prone to long stretches of quiet. Other times it erupts with unexpected volatility, upending complacent investors. This sudden reclassification of silver on the COMEX may not be screaming crisis, but the tremors it sends through the market are hard to ignore, because events like these often set the stage for dramatic shifts. And I think that is a very well way and that this is being laid out to give you an idea that we're paying attention. And even though this event itself may not lead there, it is sending a tremor. So what makes this situation worth watching is the following. The sheer size of this reclassification, representing about 8% of the registered silver stock in a single day, stands out. It is a record transfer. These large-scale transfers from registered to eligible don't happen every day. While this alone doesn't confirm supply strain, it does warrant attention. Registered stocks have seen these fluctuations before, but a steady drawdown without replenishment could signal deeper structural issues. If the trend continues, delivery availability could gradually tighten, affecting market dynamics. And to some extent, this is part of the reason I think that some of the prices of silver have gone up, because of things like this happening in the past. But this one is a bigger deal and much more, I think, that could have a bigger impact. Now, the other one is understanding the industrial and investment demand. We know that they have that dual role. It makes it uniquely vulnerable to surges in demand from either end. With the global push for green energy, like solar panels and EV batteries, industrial consumption is rising. Meanwhile, macroeconomics uncertainty could spark increased investment demand as well. Now, the silver market has a track record of sudden explosive moves rooted in long building tension. Historic events from the Hunt brothers' silver cornering attempts back in the 1980s to the Reddit-driven silver squeeze in 2021 show how quickly market sentiment can shift from calm to chaos. Now, as a reflection point, really that build-up with the Hunt brothers happened in the late 70s. That 1980s was early in that year, so it was really 1980 where that had, but it had been building up for a while. And then the silver squeeze kind of fizzled out then, but nonetheless, it did set the stage for some of the prices to increase marginally through the course of time. Since then, and markets thrive on momentum, and silver often moves in parabolic bursts when it finally breaks free of resistance. If this COMEX situation stirs broader concern or sparks higher physical demand, it could set off a chain reaction. And that very well could happen, for sure. Although we've not seen much evidence to that in the past, because many of us have been waiting for that kind of breakout thing, waiting for another 2011 moment where silver broke almost $50 an ounce, or 1980. Those are the only two times where it had occurred. With a brief period in 2016 where it got up to $32 an ounce, adjusted for inflation today, that would be, I think, higher than where it is now. But, well, it is. But now we've been seeing silver kind of move pretty good in comparison to itself, especially, and falling along the coattails of gold. Now, this transfer doesn't mean a vault run is imminent, but, however, it could send registered inventories to continue to decline without eligible stocks being reclassified into the available pool. It could signal a tightening supply as the demand ramps up. Now remember, that's within the COMEX. There are other areas of supply constraints and areas where the supply chain can be disrupted that could send prices moving as well. We've seen that in the past. While timing such moves with precision is notoriously difficult, patient investors understand that silver's greatest rallies often catch the market by surprise. Ensuring your position ahead of time rather than reacting after the fact is key, which is why it's good to stack on the dips and when nobody's really paying that much of attention. One thing seasoned silver investors know is this, that patience is a virtue and it's key. Markets like silver require a steady hand and a long-term view. Explosive rallies often come after prolonged periods of quiet, leaving many investors doubting their positions until the moment the market turns. This important takeaway is that such moves, when they come, reward those who are prepared. And that's true, but I don't think we should be stacking for reward. No, we stack over the long course of time, expecting that silver may not necessarily break out at any given point in time, but it will preserve our wealth over the long course of time. It's about wealth preservation. It's about an insurance policy. It's about mediocrity in that scale. That's right. We aim for mediocrity with silver because what does it do? It protects against an inflating dollar, which loses value, and market instability. And that's really what it's about. And it should not be about profiting, although you can profit on silver. And if you see gains, if silver shoots up dramatically, well, hey, I wouldn't blame anybody for taking some profits because more than likely probably it's going to come back down. But it may take a while, but I think there's a solidification of a floor that I think we have to take into account here too. So don't get swept up in the hype, but stay informed. It's exactly right. I agree with him completely on this. Monitor the supply and demand trends. Seize opportunities when they arise. This recent COMEX transfer is a headline grabber, but it's the broader context that tells the story. That's exactly right. That's a very well-balanced approach, and I agree with the author on this completely. And that's why I like to bring you the latest news in the world of precious metals. So if you enjoy what I do here, I hope you will consider pressing that thumbs up button and subscribing to the channel as well. I post daily videos of silver news and analysis and like to keep things in perspective about what the ultimate goal is for holding silver. Now, what do we need to watch out for? market participants should keep an eye on the following indicators to gauge the potential impact of the recent silver's movements. We need to look at the trends in the registered and eligible stocks categories. Continued decline in the registered inventories without a corresponding increase in total valued silver could signal tightening availability and supply issues. We also have to take a look at the global industrial and investment demand that will play a critical role in shaping silver trajectory. Look out for shifts in purchases from large institutional players and retail buyers jumping into the market. And then watch for any breakouts above key technical resistance levels. Sudden upward price movements could indicate increasing scarcity and a shift in market sentiment. With emphasis on market sentiment, perceived rarity, and a price movement up there, the trend is your friend in some cases in the market, and people react to that irrationally. So I think that's a good idea to keep an eye out and see what happens as the price continues to move. We might have some explosive surprises that could be coming from inflationary pressures or regulatory changes. They could act also as catalysts for a silver rally, especially in combined with the previous mentioned things. And so the silver market is no stranger to these dramatic shifts, as we've talked about. The recent record-breaking transfer on the COMEX doesn't spell immediate doom or trigger a vault run. It serves as a reminder of the market complexity and potential for volatility. For long-term investors, these signs are what we are waiting for with our preparation and patience. So silver has a way of rewarding those who stay the course during quiet times, showing its true potential when least expected. Whether it takes months or years, one thing remains clear. When the next rally comes, it could take the world by storm. Now is the time to position wisely and monitor markets shift closely. And I think part of that positioning means just holding on to the silver that you already have. I honestly think that's the most powerful move you can make with silver, and not sell out of frustration or in a slight bump in the price in a given week. Hold on to the vast majority of your stack. You can take times to profit off silver if you can, or if you have a desired need or an immediate need. That's what it's there for. But nonetheless, hold on to your core stack. So we'll see here. So we need to be patient. Stay informed. This channel serves as part of that information complex in this community. I'd have the most videos of any other precious metals channel out there, and I'd like to bring you the latest news. So I hope you will stay tuned to this channel and just watch what happens. That's what we can do. So I like this reasoned approach. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.